Hello everyone, George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape for another edition of Shop Talk. Today, what we're going to talk about is some of the lessons that I've learned over this 2015 season. I feel I've been put through the mill just when I thought I knew a lot about things. I get taught lessons every single year, and I'm just going to touch base with just a few of them. Believe me, I've got a million of them. So first and foremost, one thing that really is a constant battle for me, and it probably is for any of you that have been out there in have any size to your business, theft has been a huge problem for me, and it continues to be a problem. We're getting better at it. We're getting better controls on things, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you too. But one of the things that we did to kind of help our situation, we're losing stick equipment all the time. We're constantly buying new stick equipment and, backpack blowers, things of that nature. I really just get tired of it. We installed the camera systems at our shop, and at our shops, we've got them, they're just bugged from one end to the other. So we can see, and that really eliminated the theft at the shops because they know those cameras are up. And you got to let them know that you're watching those cameras also. You can't just put them up and leave them, because after a while they just don't think that you're watching them, and so they just pull the same shit anyway. So that helped out a lot. The other thing we did is we put a sign in and out log set up in the morning. Our managers are there. They make sure that whoever's trucks they're in charge of, as those are coming out, as the equipment's going on, it goes on an inventory list, and your truck lead signs that, as well as the manager. All the equipment's accounted for. Then when it comes back in at night, we have to make sure our manager's back there, because they have the keys to the shops. They keep things locked up anyway, so they can't even put equipment away until we get back there. So that was another thing we did, just put the locks on the shops. Nobody comes in or out at free will anymore, and the managers check everything back in, okay? That helps a lot. They still find ways to steal from you, and this is something they pulled on me this year. I had this happen like 3 times, I believe, right off the top of my head I can think of, where we bought a new hedger. It was a $400-some steel hedger, and a couple of weed whackers, brand new steels, and they would vanish within a couple of weeks. Well, as it turned out, what the guys were doing when they got to the commercial jobs, they wouldn't steal at the shops because they knew managers are around, other employees, this, that, and the other. But what they would do, they'd go to commercial jobs and they would take them and they would hide them in the bushes and come back and get them later. Okay, so that's another way that they stole from us. So one thing that I did that was probably the most important thing that I did is I started charging everybody on the truck for it. So in other words, if you have a crew that goes to commercial job sites, say you got 4 guys in the truck, and all of a sudden I'm missing a new hedger, okay, $400 hedger, well, guess what's coming out of your paycheck that week? I'm charging everybody on that truck, because I'm not going to have any of this finger pointing stuff going on. Everybody gets charged $100. Believe me, it doesn't take long before they start watching and seeing who's doing the stealing, and they let you know and you get rid of them. Okay? So, but there's ways about that. There's legal things you got to keep in mind. You can't just jump the gun on things, But it helps a lot to have things signed in and out. So, and also when you start charging these guys for that stuff, that makes a big difference. And when I hire them, I have everybody sign off on a sheet that our office is typed up for them, that they acknowledge that they're going to be charged if any of this equipment is missing. So that really made a difference. So it really cut down on it a lot, because here's a good example. You take that $400 hedger, you take it to a pawn shop, which is what most of these guys do. Take it down there, they give them $100 for the thing. They're getting charged the $100 for me anyway, so they're not going to come out ahead anyway. So that's how you curtail some of that stuff, or at least one thing that I've found. Feel free to leave your comments below. Share me ways that you have, ideas that you've implemented and things that have worked for you or didn't work for you. I'd like to hear about them. Uniforms. Always have an issue with uniforms. Seems like that's a never-ending battle. When we started out, we're always losing them nonstop, and you're ordering dozens and dozens at a time, and we've tried everything we could think of. We tried just handing them out, trusting people. That didn't work for shit. They were gone. Guys had worked 2 days, they're gone. You never get your shirts back. They'd work a day, they were gone. You didn't get any of your shirts back, so that didn't work. But we tried to give them, when they showed up for work, the managers would be standing there handing them a shirt, and it gets turned back in at the end of the day. Half the time that guy might get fired out in the field. Well, there goes that shirt. There's so many ways that it doesn't work. So now what we're doing now, and again, if you have a different way of doing it, I'd love to hear it. But when they come, we hire them, we give them 5 shirts. And what I do is I hold everybody's check for a week, just like a lot of businesses do. So I have that check sitting here waiting. Now, when the time comes, and if you go to leave my company, I'm going to pay you your check as long as you turn your shirts in. You don't turn those shirts in, you're not getting your check. I'll discount. If it costs me $15 a piece to have those shirts made or uniforms made, then that's what's coming out of your check, however many shirts that you decided not to turn into me. So I got tired of eating that. You just can't do it. Abusing equipment. Here's another thing that I did, and this is something that I learned that these guys, and these are, and I'm not saying all employees, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about the bad employees when I talk about this thing. You have good employees that you never have issues with, but I'm talking about the bad employees, and right now I'm talking about how they abuse the equipment. I remember I went down to Florida this summer, and I walked up on one of our trucks, and I've got racks that hold everything. The blowers, all your stick equipment is in racks. That's where it's supposed to be. We got a brand new $400 hedger laying in the back of a truck, on the bed of the truck, and then we got a brand new steel backpack blower slammed down on top of that. The backpack sprayer tipped over, fluid running all over the truck, all over the equipment. I mean, what in the hell? Everything has racks, everything. So there's no reason for that to happen. And I got so tired of preaching it. I remember when I was down there this summer, I saw 3 backpack sprayers, steel sprayers, get just smashed from guys throwing them around in the truck or driving the mower up on there, and they would tip over and they'd run them over with a tire, all kinds of crazy shit like this. So I got tired of that too. I'm sick and tired of replacing equipment. So what we did is we tell them, if you guys want to keep ripping these rip cords out of these, okay, and it's a common thing, but you got to be taught. You got to be taught. You only pull so far. You don't do this thing. When you throw that away from you, it comes to the end, something's got to give, and either the rope's going to snap or the springs are going to snap inside it. It's always something. But every time you do it, it's a $25, $30 bill, and I got sick and tired of paying that. So I train them. They know what they're supposed to do, and if they continue to break them, they're going to pay for them. If they abuse my equipment, if they break that backpack sprayer, flipped over in their truck and they broke it, they're buying me a new one. Everybody on that truck. So you get them, after a while, you get them all watching each other and trying to put things up because they get sick and tired of having a half a paycheck at the end of the week. That's how you get their attention. At least that's how we found to get their attention. And again, if you have ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear them. Share them with everybody else. Assigning the equipment to the trucks. This is another thing we do. So if you've got, say you truck 1, as he pulls up, he's supposed to have 2 weed whackers, 2 edgers, 2 hedgers on there, 2 backpack sprayers, and his 2 mowers. You get all that stuff on that truck, that's got to stay on that truck. They're all numbered 1. They're on truck 1. That's where they stay. And so on and so forth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every truck has your equipment numbered, because the other problem you run into with guys is they get pissed off at each other because somebody's taking their equipment. Everybody out in the field knows that if you have a trimmer that you really like, and this steel trimmer, you got to flip on the choke, 2 pulls, and she fires up. And all of a sudden you get one that has a different trick to starting it. It doesn't need to be choked at all, and it starts on the first pull or whatever. You choked it, you flooded it, you're pulling. I mean, everybody knows those things are finicky, and once you learn your machine, you know how it starts, and you know what to do to get it to start with the least amount of effort, put it that way. Okay, that was hard for me to say, obviously. But that's one of the things that we do. One of the other things, I got sick and tired of the employees being late, and it's a nonstop battle, it seems like. So one of the things that we do and that we implemented this year is when 7 o'clock rolls around, if you're not on that truck leaves without you, you go home and you're not getting paid for going home. So that's my last final thought for this session of Shop Talk I wanted to share with you. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me your comments below. Any ideas that you guys have that I haven't thought of yet, maybe you got a better way out there. I'm sure a lot of you do. Let me know. Thanks for watching.